Hello guys, welcome back onto the Dutch couch here. This is a different video. I want to see who your greatest of all time is, your GOAT. And I want to ask why as well. I mean, we've been talking about, me and the boys have been talking about what we like and our opinions. This video, I'd love to get other people's opinions. So in the comments, I want you to tell us, who do you think is the greatest of all time, your greatest of all time, the GOAT, and why? People who watch the videos, you're going to know that my greatest of all time, my hero, is Johan Cruyff, right? The Dutchman, right? And when I think of a hero, I think of someone who really influences you. He was a massive influence to you. He was an influence to me from an early age. I saw him, I see it on other videos. The first thing I ever saw of him, he took a penalty, but he passed it, got the return and scored. And that just got my imagination from an early age. But what I love about this guy, he's just an innovator. As a footballer, he just oozes class. And what I like about him, obviously, he was a local lad when he was at Ajax. His mum used to clean the change rooms, I believe. So he was kicking the ball around there from about the age of 10. So a local lad, went into his local club. Revelation. Everything about him was he just oozed class. The way he played, the vision. I used to love the way he used to play the outside of the foot passes. His control, his burst of pace was like unbelievable. 74 World Cup final was an example of that. Got the ball in his own half, little surge. Then he went up another gear. So not did the player only thought he was sprinting. He went up in an even higher gear. Just that sort of, I just thought the guy just did class. Obviously he's won a lot of stuff. 3 Ballon d'Ors in 71, 73, 74. 3 consecutive European Cups, now the Champions League with Ajax, and that great Ajax team of the early 70s. And let's not forget, before that, in the 60s and stuff, Dutch football wasn't at a good level with, obviously, big teams. Those teams really went up to the next level, became professional with Rinus Michels. But Cruyff was the orchestrator on that pitch. I've read about and heard it in podcasts and stuff. He used to really annoy Michels because he used to coach from the pitch. He used to change players' positions and go above the manager, which showed an ego for me. And if you've got a massive ego, that tells me that you know you're good. But to know you're good and actually be good is another thing. This guy was actually the real deal. I think he just oozed class. I mean, everything you read about this guy, I've read so many books on him, watched endless footage of this guy since an early age. I just love everything about him. I'll tell you what, I collect so much Cruyff related gear. I'm a 44-year-old man, right? But my wife bought me these. And it might be saying like a 12-year-old there, but I love them. These boots here, right? Look at these. They've got his signature, Total Football. Look at that. Even had the Dutch flag put on for me. For the Dutch couch here. Even got his Ballon d'Ors on the back there, 71, 73, 74. I've only wore these once, but I don't think I'm going to wear them again. I'm going to put them in a display case. I just think they're magic. Love them. But yeah, like I was saying about Cruyff, orchestrator on that pitch. The 74 World Cup, I think obviously the Netherlands, they didn't qualify for World Cups before that really. They came to this World Cup as an unknown quantity really, and they brought their total football to the world, for the world to see. And even though they lost in that final, from what I'm reading, those players, and Cruyff in particular, come away buzzing from that tournament. They went home feeling they'd won the World Cup just because they got to show that style of football on a stage. And I know people say to me, when I slaughter the likes of Guardiola's football now where it's gone sterile, they say to me, yeah, but how can you like Cruyff when this Guardiola's a disciple? Yeah, I get that. And Guardiola, brilliant manager, right? But the last couple of years, I've seen a difference in it. It's now becoming slow. With Cruyff sort of football, right? It was fast-paced, like the Ajax team, the Netherlands 74 team, but Cruyff when he was coaching as well. It was fast-paced football, possession-based, but a faster pace. It was cutthroat. Not like you're seeing now from Man City. The Man City before loved it, but these players, this sort of system, they was interchanging positions, so defenders were comfortable in centre forward positions. It was daring football, but it was possession-based football. It was total football. Fell in love with it massively. But what I love about this guy, right? I love shithousery. I'm a massive fan of any shithousery in football. And if you've got an ego and you bring some shithousery to the table, then you've got a fan in me. And I'll tell you what, the 74 World Cup, this guy was sponsored by Puma, right? Netherlands wore Adidas with the 3 stripes on the shirt, right? This guy took a stripe off because he didn't want to be seen in Adidas. So he went on the pitch in front of the world with Adidas, but with 2 stripes on his shirt. So that tells me that this guy's got not only got an ego, he fucking knows he's good, he can get away with it. And he doesn't care what anyone else thinks, which I love, absolutely love. And through this fella, I absolutely fell in love with everything Dutch football from a young age. I mean, obviously, I was brought up an Arsenal fan, right? So when Dennis Bergkamp rocked up, unbelievable for me, unbelievable. But I love the technical side of the Dutch game. I love the technical side of it. And I've always been a fan, and I'm still a fan. Even though I'm English, and I might get pelters for this, I've said in another video, I'm a fan of the Netherlands national team. I don't support the England national team, never have. Since a young boy, I've been a fan of the Netherlands national team. And that's just basically because I came across this guy from a video that someone lent me. We didn't have YouTube or nothing back then. Just from a video that someone lent me. And I wanted to explore and find out more about this player. But with YouTube now, it's unbelievable the footage I can see that I never see before. And I love to see how people talk about him as well, right? But not only talk about him, I watched a video on YouTube. He was in a room full of coaches, and these coaches are like A-licensed coaches around the world and whatever. Sorry. But to watch him talking to them, to see their reaction and to see how much in awe of him that they were, it was eye-opening. It was jaw-dropping for me. I couldn't believe they was actually in awe of this guy. They was clinging on to every word. Some of them look like starstruck teenagers, and these are like top coaches. That told a story for me. Told a massive story. But the way he played, oh mate, he's unbelievable. His vision. That struck a chord with the likes of, when you look further up, when you go to Bergkamp, he's an inspiration, wasn't he? If you ask any Dutch player in this current squad, the greatest Dutch player, I guarantee they're all going to say Johan Cruyff. They're all going to say Johan Cruyff, I'm sure, because he's such a massive figure in that country, in the world, really, in the world of football. And I can't stress enough how good this guy was. I've just commented actually on a video, right, that Ronaldinho, though Cruyff is my all-time hero, and when I say all-time hero, and your GOAT, I don't mean, you don't have to sort of say he is the greatest player of all time, but your greatest, what they did for you. Like you might pick someone like, I don't know, a random player. You might pick Steven Gerrard, because what he's brought to you as a fan at your club, what is the memories that he's made for you. If he's your GOAT, that's fine. I never got to see this guy live, obviously, I was too young. But the influence this guy's had on me, it's sad to see, sad to say actually. It has such an influence in my life, in my coaching, because I coach as well, not at that level. He has an influence in the way I coach, the way I look at football, the way I research football. Everything, I look at everything psychologically as well. One thing I'm not really into that he was big on was stats. I'm not stats based. I'm not really massive on stats based. But I also had listened to a podcast earlier actually, and I've listened to it a couple of times about the 74 World Cup. And what I loved about it, right? Bear in mind, this guy's the captain. He's not the manager, but on the pitch, trust me, he's the manager. What he says goes, right, on his pitch. When he tells you to press, that team goes. They listen to this guy's orders. He tells them straight what he wants and he gets it, right? the goalkeeper in the Netherlands 74 World Cup team was a second division goalkeeper. He'd only made one appearance a few years earlier, but he became the first choice goalkeeper in that World Cup squad on the say-so of Johan Cruyff. This is what I listened to on the podcast earlier, right? And obviously there was a big goalkeeper at the time who missed out on this, who never got to play in a World Cup apparently. But it was down to Cruyff, because he said this goalkeeper, he's not a great goalkeeper, but he's a good footballer. And we need a footballer more than we need a goalkeeper, because the way we're going to play, we need a sweeper keeper. And this guy came in on his say-so. So if that doesn't tell you an influence, nothing does. Do you know what I mean? Obviously he won countless trophies. And when he went to Barcelona, what I love about him as well, he was meant to go to, well, they was trying to get him to move to Real Madrid, the people at Ajax. I think the president had conversations with Real Madrid, and they contacted Cruyff and his people and said, we've sorted out a deal for Real Madrid, if I'm led to believe. This is what I read as well, right? And what I love about it, Real Madrid were at the top then. They was the cream, right? They are still now, but they was the cream, right? And Cruyff sort of said, well, hold on a minute. You don't tell me where I'm going. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. Now I'm going to Barcelona, where he went to join Rinus Michels, his manager, who was at Ajax. But they used to clash, but it was a sort of love and hate from what I've led to believe. They clashed with Cruyff trying to take over, and Rinus Michels didn't like that. But I don't think Rinus Michels could live without him, because he needed this maverick in his team. He needed that maverick in his team, that genius he had there, because Michels knew that this genius could get him results, right? And he went to Barcelona, and I think they were sort of 14th in La Liga. And he ended up winning trophies there and helping Barcelona really rise up. But he changed the culture of that club at Barcelona. And the Barcelona that you see today, and Guardiola's Barcelona, that stems from Johan Cruyff and his philosophy and his way of playing and everything. The work that he done at La Masia was unbelievable. But the legacy there is massive. This is why when I say GOAT, I love a legacy. Right, a greatest player should leave a legacy. I think he's left a legacy as a player and a manager. And I think if you're still influencing people, sort of 50 years on, and to me, you're fucking special. You are something else. And I know people are gonna. I love all this. I do like the debate, Messi, Ronaldo. I love that debate. We're lucky. We are lucky, right? I don't think we appreciate now that we got to see them play in the same era. Because if I look now they're coming to the end, I'm looking thinking, there's no one to take the mantle from them. There's nobody with the... I think football's regressed anyway. And I think you can tell that, but when you look at the rankings in his Ballon d'Ors, I think if I looked at like 2006 or whatever, and you'd have someone, for instance, like Clarence Seedorf in like 20th, he rips to pieces any sort of player in this league, now, anywhere. He rips his players to pieces. And he was like sort of 26, whatever. That's only an example. Don't quote me on that. But it's crazy. But this guy here, for me, my personal opinion, and I'll never budge from it, I don't think anyone will ever take over him. As sad as it sounds, right? I'm a 44-year-old man, right? But I've got a whole wardrobe upstairs, just Ajax and Netherlands stuff. And even Cruyff's fashion brand. I've got it full of that gear. People say to me, don't, a bit much in it. But I say, listen, it's good to have heroes, right? It's good to look up to people, I think. But good influences. But I don't think everything was perfect about this guy, right? Because from what I led to believe, he had a bit of a brutal side, a bit of cutthroat side. On the podcast I listened to today, it was with a guy who Cruyff was his massive hero, was his biggest hero, and he got to meet him. But then Cruyff sort of turned on him because it become about, I think he worked for The Guardian. I think the guy said he worked for The Guardian, Cooper. And I think he said he met Cruyff, was good as gold, had a really good chats with him. But all of a sudden Cruyff just turned. And he said, we're not doing what we agreed, we need more money, or something like that. So I think he was quite, I think money-wise and business-wise, I think he was quite cutthroat. But me as a football fan, that sort of stuff, I'm not interested in. Because when I watch football, right, and this is why he's my GOAT, when I watch football, if I watch someone and everything they do puts a smile on my face and makes me think, wow, and for me, that's special. And every time I see this fella on clips, I probably watch the same videos over and over, right? But I'm still like, wow, wow. And like obviously the guy like died 8 years ago. But I don't think his legacy I think his legacy will stand a massive long time. Stand the test of time. I've not even touched the surface about this fella and what I think of him, right? Even down to, it's weird because even my 8-year-old idolises this fella. And I don't know if it's just because it's like, my dad likes him. But he's coming home from school and he's drawing football shirts with Cruyff 14 on the back, orange shirts, and I'm thinking, how lovely is that? And he watches the clips with me on YouTube, and he's like, Dad, that is the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's better than Messi and all this. And people are going to go, oh, come on, different time. But as an influence, I think, as a long-standing influence, this guy's incredible. This guy is incredible. I can't say enough good things about him. You've only got to look behind me here, right? Not being funny, for an Englishman, born and bred Englishman, I've got no Dutch blood in me. But I'm obsessed with I love the Dutch. I love the Dutch. I'm a massive fan of the Netherlands national team. I love Ajax. I love classic Ajax. I collect all the retros. I'm taking my boys out there next year to a game. I want to actually go to it. I would actually go and visit the final as well, to go and watch a game at De Keep. And I want to see a national team game over there. But I just want to feel it, you know. Just want to feel a bit of the Dutch magic. I won't be smoking none of that gear. I'm not into all that. But that's my greatest of all time. I'd love to hear yours, and I'd love to hear in the comments why. What is it so special about your idol or your greatest? Because I'll be honest, some of your greatest of all times, I'm probably going to go, wow, what a player. Some others I might be surprised with, but I'm open to opinions, and I love to look at things from other people's angles and say, like, I can see what he likes about him, or like what she likes about him, or whatever. I'm really interested to see this, actually. And but we're going to do some more heroes videos. I'd say my top 3, actually, right? And they're going to be Dutch. They have to be Dutch. But I'm going to have to chuck a 4th one in there as well, because I can't leave another fellow out. So I'm going to have to go. My top 4 players, right, is going to be Dennis Bergkamp. Johan Cruyff. It's going to be the best centre forward I've ever seen, Marco van Basten, right? It's going to be Dennis Bergkamp. And I had to have this guy in there. I think this guy's magic. Clarence Seedorf. Loved him. Always loved that fella. But he's another one just who's class. But I think the Dutch as a nation, for such a small nation to have a massive impact on the world that they have, I think it's incredible as well. Incredible. 3 World Cup finals. I know they haven't won the World Cup. But it is what it is. I mean, the effect that they've had on people around the world from their football, I think is incredible. And I think a lot of that stems from the early Ajax 70s teams. Rinus Michels, legendary manager. Obviously, he came back to win Euros 88 with them, which is amazing. But I think the spearhead of all this was Johan Cruyff. And I have to give a special mention, actually, to another Johan, who was an absolute genius as well, and followed him to Barcelona, Johan Neeskens. What an amazing player he was. So I'm going to chuck a 5th player in there. Johan Neeskens is in my top 5. But yeah, just a quick video that. I'm not going to drone on too much about Cruyff. I could talk for about 6 hours. My mates get bored of me talking about it. But they know what I am, who I am, and how much I love this guy. But yeah, let us know in the comments who your greatest of all time is, your GOAT. It'll be really interesting. I think the other 2 boys of Man United are going to say Ronaldo. Boring. Boring. Be different. Nah, take care. Thanks. On to the next one. Cheers.